Please like, subscribe, and be sure to click that bell button for regular and exciting indie film content and your chance to be the first to engage with the Liftoff Global Network of Film Festivals as we embark on launching the careers of the filmmakers of tomorrow.
Hello and welcome to our stream. My name is Anna Albee.
And I'm Freddie.
Today we have the winner of the Hollywood First Time Filmmaker Showcase. So let's see who we have. Should we start with introducing yourself, your name, the name of your project, and then we can sort of dive into it a little bit more after. Edward, do you want to start?
Sure, of course. My name is Edward Borlenghi, and I created Hybrid Brad.
Dylan?
My name is Dylan Record. I directed Christmas Glory.
Amazing. Really good.
Hello everyone, I am Chakir Bouhatta. I have Moroccan roots. Actually, I'm living in Germany, and I did the short movie HOLGER. It was like for my university, so I finished university with that film.
Really great. Really nice to meet all of you. And so let's dive into it. I'm really excited to talk about your films, and it's a great accomplishment and for us all to be here today. So should I give it over to you?
Yeah, thank you everyone for coming. And we're going to start off with Edward from your film. Tell us about it. What inspired it? Yeah, what inspired you to make this really different film in a really fun way? It was very fun film.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun making it, and Hybrid Brad is actually inspired from the UFO rabbit hole, basically, and where that takes you, and especially the abduction phenomenon and odd things that testimonies include. But I had this idea kicking around of making a hybrid being who his father. So his name is Brad, and he's part human and part alien, and his father created him using some of his own DNA and a donor human female egg. And he did that primarily as to have a companion on his spaceship because he was lonely out in space patrolling over North America. And so while Brad is growing up, he's learning telepathy and telekinesis because Rex is teaching him those things. But by the time he's a teenage boy, he's now also bored in space flying over North America. And so he says, "Hey, Dad, I'm part human. I want to live on Earth." And then his dad gets all excited and was like, "Okay, I'll send you to Earth, and then I'll send you to your donor mother, who, if she's on screen right now, it's Miriam, who is the teacher actually of the science class. She doesn't know that she happens to be the egg donor, but Brad knows that that's his, birth mom, so to speak, and so." So it's basically this boy who looks a little bit weird because he's a hybrid, and he's got these supernatural powers, but he is in the place of a regular boy in school doing the regular things that a human being does. And so he's experiencing what it's like to be human, and his father, because they have a telepathic connection, experiences humanity vicariously through his son. So whenever Brad feels certain emotions, then his dad feels them also, and so over time, he starts to understand what it means to be human, and so actually, this animated short is also designed to be a pilot episode for a series. And so with each through the course of the series, Rex, the father, learns more and more about what it means to be human, culminating in the greatest human emotion of love, through his son, who is developing a crush I don't know if she's still on screen, but Mabel is a girl that happens to be a classmate, but becomes his best friend,
Mm.
and he develops a crush on her. And so through the duration of the series, um, uh, she starts to feel an attachment towards him as well. But at the same time, she starts noticing that he's behaving a little bit strangely than other kids, because sometimes he's telepathically communicating with Rex, who's in the scene, and only Brad can see him, but nobody else can see him. And some other supernatural things that Brad does sometimes that she starts to pick up on slowly over time.
Mm.
Yeah, and so yeah, maybe I should pause so that I can hear another question.
No, no, that's great. I think it was really great to hear just a summary of what it's about, and especially what it's about at its core. With the, it's really about it's really a very human story, isn't it? About discovering the human
Yeah.
nature in Brad, even though he's part alien and grew up
That's correct.
flying through space.
Yes.
Yeah, I actually wanted to talk a bit about the art style, because I thought that was really interesting what you did, both in the characters and also in the way you sort of mix media a bit, and you have like the
Yes.
photographic elements and the animated elements. Do you want to talk about
Correct.
that?
Yeah. So it almost has a collage effect because of the layering of objects like that, and the way some are real objects. Like later on in this sequence, you'll see that there's a cardboard box that is sitting on a kitchen counter. That's during a blackout scene, because this episode has to do with the way humans create energy on Earth, and it's about the future developments in technology regarding energy creation. But the times when I use real world looking items, it's intended to make the viewer connect with the fact that some of these things that are happening happen in real life as well. Like a cardboard box that looks like a real box. I mean, somebody indeed stores their like emergency supplies, because that's what the cardboard box is used, in a box that's in a closet, and so it's just to help people identify with things that are happening in the animation, even though it's fiction. It just bridges into real world considerations as well. Like there's a scene near the beginning of the episode in which it transitions from a real camera shoot of public space that pans, and as it pans, it transitions into the cartoon environment, meaning like these people that are having this conversation in the cartoon um, are having a regular kind of conversation that regular human beings have sometimes also. And so it's meant to sort of blur that line between science fiction and reality, which frankly is kind of something that's happening in the whole UFO revelation phenomenon that's happening right now with government revelations and congressional hearings and all these things that are turning science fiction into a reality instead of just being in its own little fringe quadrant of the supernatural.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah, no, it's in its core, it touches on really real issues, and
Yeah.
it's a very very current story in that way, isn't it? That
Right.
it doesn't just tell an alien story; it tells a lot about how we currently perceive that whole theme as
Yeah, and
society.
there's a character named Sammy who will be present during the blackout scene, who is Miriam's brother. He's kind of a washed up rock and roller who's living in her basement and is kind of mooching off of her. But he represents the sector of of society who's conspiratorial. He's a prepper, so he's got like all these things in his basement. Over the course of the series, he starts researching more and more about just different conspiracies, including UFO stuff. So while while the story of Hybrid Brad is developing and all the characters are developing and relationships are developing, you also have uh, this character Sammy, who's bringing the audience through current revelations regarding the fact of the UFO phenomenon. And so there's a lot of parallels that happen through the course of the series, and a lot of character development and relationship building that I have a vision for.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely. Could you? Yeah. Oh, yeah. You have a question. Go ahead.
I wanted to ask you, what was one thing that you really loved about working on this piece, and if there was anything that, in retrospect, that perhaps you'd like to change or wish that you could have dived deeper into, and just hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah. Well, what I really loved it was just watching it turn into from an idea to a visual reality. And in order to make this happen, I needed to learn the animation software. I already know Final Cut Pro, which I used for all of the editing and all the effects and like panning of the camera and so forth, which was really instrumental to making it have almost a cinema quality in a way, because of certain camera angles I did that you typically don't see in a cartoon. But I really enjoyed seeing the characters moving for the first time, because as I said, this is actually my first animation. I had to learn this software, Character Animator, on Adobe in order to make the characters move like that. So, and I thought it was really great when I found the Pixel Film Studios plugin on Final Cut Pro that allowed me to use all of the visual effects that I use with the energy transferences that happen, and other supernatural moments that have a lot of flashing lights and energy to them. Um, and what I did learn from it that I would do differently is for subsequent episodes in a series to delegate, because I had to do everything myself except for the voices. I had 3 excellent voice actors who really were instrumental to bringing the characters to life. And then I had a co-writer for the script who I gave the character traits, the kinds of things that happen throughout a typical episode, the kinds of interactions, and then what the storyline would be for this first episode, the pilot. And we collaborated back and forth a little bit, but I'm happy to do Final Cut Pro editing and directing and cinematography, but as far as the animation of characters, I need somebody else to do those things. That's really what I took away from this project, heading towards the future of doing more episodes.
Amazing. Yeah. Well, thank you, Edward, for that. That's a great insight into what went into making your film. That was really, yeah. Wow. It's blown my mind how much work actually goes into that, even though I've seen the film and I should have known, but yeah.
How did you get into animation?
So it was the idea. It was this idea.
Okay.
I mean, I do have a background in architecture, and
Oh,
so
wow.
I've used animation for 3D models and fly-throughs and things like that. And there is a scene in this episode in which you see a building that I designed for real and was built, but I use it as the backdrop. The 3D model of it I use as the backdrop for some scenes where there's some section cuts through it, and so it looks very architectural. Yeah, so animation really began with doing it for the purpose of architecture, and so this character animation really really stems from my wanting to tell this story of a boy who's, or a human, or I rather a being who is part human and part alien.
Yeah.
And so it's really my first animation in that sense.
Amazing.
That's
Well,
wonderful.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Edward.
Let's move on to Dylan.
Dylan.
Anna has some questions.
Right, Dylan, I'd like to know, first off, a little bit about, your inspiration and what kind of lit that fire in you to do this project. And let's start there.
Yeah, so it started out, this is my senior project, and I was a film student at the University of St. Francis. And the initial idea was kind of there, like I had the characters, but over time it developed and morphed into what it was today. I think aesthetically I was inspired by it because I grew up with like the early days of YouTube. And that kind of, it's like a DIY kind of aesthetic, and also I'm inspired by you guys know Dogma 95 by any chance?
No, I don't know.
Not heard of that one.
But
No, sorry.
it's this movement in the late 90s where they, I guess to break it down, they could only use like digital cameras, and it had to be on site, and it had to be in real time and natural lighting, and all that kind of stuff. So it's like a DIY thing, but and these characters. I was also kind of inspired by Charles Schultz a little bit, the Peanuts, just because of the simplicity of how they communicate with each other, and they're also kind of reaching for higher concepts that they can't really.
They had great. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
They had great chemistry. The actors. I thought everyone worked really well together, and had you worked with those actors before, or did you put a casting? What was that process like? And also, was that chemistry natural, or were there any exercises that you did on set, or it was so well done. It was really, really good.
Thank you. So 3 of the actors were acting majors at Ball State, and the Zara, who plays Cookie, I've known her for a while, so there's already a natural relationship there. And she and the guy who plays Pepper is my brother.
Oh wow!
I thought you looked alike. I was like,
is
that you? No.
So we have some natural chemistry. And then so then the other 2. So Haley, who plays Anne, and Ian, who plays Neil, are acting majors, and they knew Zara. So I met them through Zara, and so they already had some sort of. They've already worked together in like plays, and they've went to school together. And Matt, I just knew through. He was also a film student, and I asked if he wanted to act in it. Who plays Eustace? Yeah. But they're all very easygoing, and just established relationships there kind of help. So, and they all seem to know exactly what the tone of the project was, and without really having to over explain it to them, like they kind of just kind of with each actor.
There's one thing I have to ask about. I've just seen it again and again on screen. Is the knife scene? Why the knife?
Initially, the scripts changed so much through time, but that specific character, with his introduction, I was thinking of something something interesting he could be doing to garner the character's attention, and then I thought of the knife game, and it just kind of sort of morphed into his way of communicating with the other characters, which I thought was kind of interesting because it kind of adds this layer of like risk every time he's communicating to someone.
Yeah.
So there could be some, there could be some. I could be making a statement or something.
So did you have a real knife, or did you have a prop knife to?
It was we had a prop knife, but it broke, so it was real.
Oh my
Oh
goodness!
gosh.
Full method.
Yeah, so he was actually using a real knife.
Oh, wow.
Which there was like it was very scary every time we shot a scene. But he luckily he nailed it for some reason. Like he didn't even practice. He just
Oh my
went in.
goodness.
It was meant to be, obviously.
Yeah, he should just be doing that full time. Sure.
Oh goodness. Well, I'm dying to ask you a question. You
Sure.
have a animation, or drawing
Like an animation sequence. Yeah.
towards the end.
Yeah.
I thought that was really beautiful, and
Thanks.
and if you could just touch on that a little bit more, and what inspired that, and
Yeah, just tell us about it, because it was really
it was just really
it was just
good.
really beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was really lovely.
Yeah, so I drew all those, and I was,
You drew those.
yeah.
Oh
yeah.
wow. Wow.
Yeah, thank you. And I did initially want to animate, but the shortage of time made it into almost like a slideshow.
Mm.
But I liked the aesthetic of it, because it had like a storybook kind of element to it.
Yeah.
But I just kind of whipped those out. That was the last thing I did for the movie. So and a little inspired by like just storybooks, and there's like Shelley Duvall. I think Shelley Duvall's like Story Hour or whatever it's called.
Mm.
Like I remember she would have like stills of the story that she was reading,
Oh, okay.
and I was a little inspired by that. But yeah, that was me who drew those.
Did you face any obstacles during the filming process?
Most of it was just prop oriented, because there's a lot of breaking things.
Besides the knife.
Yeah, the knife broke. Like, well, the only time it was a big knife was when there's the scene where Cookie stabs the punching bag.
Yeah.
And that was when it broke in real life, because
Oh.
Sarah like actually stabbed it instead of,
Oh
and
no.
it snapped. So then we're like, oh man. So then we had to use a real one. But so that, and then there was also, we had to figure out when Eustace sits on the chair and it breaks at the beginning.
Yeah.
Mm.
I didn't even think about what I was going to do for that, but luckily there was like an old computer chair that we just used, and we just loosened it up. So that was what we did for that. And it, like, initially I was like almost willing to just cut off the leg of an actual wooden chair, but and then the cookie jar, we just broke that, and we just actually,
It's just
it
a
was
one shot.
Very violent. It was very aggressive, violent set, because we were breaking things and
Yeah.
had real weapons.
Just full on all in.
Well, thank you, Dylan. Thank you so much for talking to us, and really enjoyed your film.
Thank you.
Shall we go
Yeah,
to Shakir?
let's go to Chakir, to our last film, HOLGER. That was a really intense film, and really different, because we don't get many political films in At Liftoff. And I thought that was really daring, but also really brave to go and face political questions head on. So what was your inspiration behind making Holger?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for this opportunity to talk with you guys. My inspiration was actually I worked in a political campaign in Germany for the Democrats,
Wow.
like the party, and our guy lost the how we say it in English.
The election.
Yes, he lost the election, and this was so difficult for me to understand why we lost, and it made me really depressive for like 2-3 weeks. And that was the inspiration, because our guy was really the good guy, like in America, Sanders, when you remember the election 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Like he was the good guy with the good ideas, social ideas, and we lost. And that was my inspiration.
Okay. Yeah. So talking about Holger, how did you cast a film like that? Because you need this charismatic leader character, and but you also need these. Yeah, you need a really diverse cast of people from all kinds of backgrounds to
Yes.
cast for Holger. How did you go about that?
So I think for this movie, how you say, it really was important. The cast was the most important thing. In Germany, we have like social groups in Facebook or something for people with low budget movies, you know, and there we can describe the character, and then we get offers. The problem was, of course, the budget. We didn't have so much money, but it was very one thing I will never forget, when the main character Holger, because we didn't have the time to meet more, like we didn't do real casting. I just FaceTimed them, and when they were near to my city, near to Cologne, I drove to them and I saw them in personal. And then Holger, his name is David Rosser, he sent me a video, and this video, it was a funny video for a German TV show. And the way he left the screen, he was just you could just see him from behind. His walking was a little like Charlie Chaplin, and that's why I fell in love with him. Because the movie is, even if it's dramatic, sometimes it's funny, you know. So that's why I chose him, because he's like, for me, he's a little bit like Charlie Chaplin.
Okay,
Like
yeah.
like a little goofy, you know, a little.
Yes, like yeah. I get that now. Yes. Now that you say that, that's great. So
What was your favorite part of filming this?
To be honest, like for answering this really good question, is when we started, I realized, because it was the first time doing like a 30-minute movie. And I was so stressed and had so many things in my head that at the beginning of shooting the movie, I was just doing, how can I say it? I was just doing the things like you have to do. I was not authentic. I was not filming how I want, or letting the actor be free how I want. It was like really not good vibe at the beginning. So at the end, when we realized, okay, this project can really function, then we started to be a little have fun on set, and give the actor the chance to improve himself, and let the actor decide maybe what he can do more or something. Then when we realized, okay, this can be fun, and this can be really this dream of making movies is really something to achieve. But yeah.
How did you get into and making films, and what started that desire in you?
I think it has a lot to do with my with my roots, because how I said, I'm from Morocco, and
Okay.
growing up, like, you have to understand, Moroccan people, when they talk with colors, with pictures in your head, and and I had the luck always to have a grandma or something, and we have tradition in Morocco. Always before the sun goes down, the grandma sits in front of the house with all the nephews, and she tells you stories, and real, like, some stories were really like horror stories, but having this kind of hearing stories and seeing images and this way of talking and this in my culture inspired me to one day making movies.
Really
That's
beautiful.
great. So one thing we noticed while watching the film is you work a lot with color grading. So you have this theme of everything slightly yellow reddish throughout the
Yeah.
whole film, and then only in the end it changes a bit. You have like the beautiful sky. Was
Yeah.
that something you consciously worked with?
Yeah, you are a very good film human being. You see things very good. Yeah, I have to be honest. The color grading, I wanted it to be like a depressed atmosphere because of story, and how you said at the end was a little more color and everything. But yeah, we have to admit that a lot of things were not perfect, and the color grading was not perfect. But I think the atmosphere, you felt the atmosphere, and that's the most important thing. And one thing for, I mean, maybe somebody sees the stream, a lot of talented filmmakers don't start because they don't have this Hollywood production in their first movie, you know. And that's a little sad, and that was the reason why I didn't start earlier. You don't have to be afraid, make your mistakes, and like we sent this movie to film festivals. We got like the chance to talk with you. We won this first award. We are selected in 11 film festivals. And with the movie, like we thought, okay, this is maybe not a good movie because it doesn't look like Hollywood, but it doesn't have to look like Hollywood. If there's a story and people feel it, yeah, just do it.
Yeah, I think that's really important, especially Liftoff, because we work exclusively with indie filmmakers, and what's really important is a story and what it tells and what it does to us, what viewers, rather than just having a fantastic production that costs millions but might not be a great story.
Would it be fair to say that if something you know now that you wish you had when you started would be to just do it and to just go and tell your story regardless of, you know, whatever limitations that you put on yourself? Would you say that would be correct?
Yeah, I would say, for example, like Edward and Dylan and me, we all have something that's ours. When we have a camera or if we product something that's up, only we see it this way, like a style, something.
Yeah.
You cannot describe it. And you should always listen to this feeling and have this feeling from the beginning to the end. If you make a movie, don't have like you're making construction for a bridge or something that has to be mathematically perfect. You should more. If this feeling is not there, that you feel you're doing something from your soul, yeah, then why are you doing this? And most of the time, I can talk about my experience. Most of the time, the thing that lets you don't feel this or don't allow this feeling to work is fear of making mistakes and stuff. But mistakes, we did, like you saw this movie, there are so many production mistakes, but you can feel it. You can feel it, never mind. But don't be afraid to make mistakes. And we will make mistakes in our next movie and the next movie and the next movie. But if you really want to have this dream of one day being able to live only from our movies, then make mistakes. Go look at the big directors. Look their first movies. You will laugh and say, "What the fuck is this?" So.
I think that's some great advice, definitely, for anyone.
Edward and Dylan, you feel, is there anything you would like to add, or do you feel that that's pretty spot on?
You know, I like what Chakir said about the way, you know, a filmmaker has a vision, and the vision, of course, in order for it to be compelling, has to have feelings and emotions attached to it. And so, you know, this visual medium of communication that we've used here is really essentially a way to transmit ideas and emotions to a viewer in order to share in the sentiment with artistic quality. Like he said, instead of a bridge, it's not mathematical. I mean, there might be a component to some degree, but nonetheless, you're dealing with emotions and feelings, and that's the art of filmmaking.
Yeah, beautifully said. Thank you.
Thanks.
Dylan, is there anything you'd like to say, or you don't have to, just putting it out there?
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much just agree with the other two.
Cool.
Amazing. Yeah. I think.
I want to say one last thing.
Yeah.
Like this was my first award, and I really want to say this is for my home country, even if it's nothing special.
That's amazing. Yeah. Thank you so much.
We have a something,
Audience question.
Yeah, something in the chat. I actually can't see because I don't have my
Oh,
glasses.
okay. Let me let you know. Yes. So Babette is in chat and says, please ask these directors to let us know who they might like to thank for their assistance in making these movies. That is a great point. So let's just go through each of you. Who was absolutely instrumental in making your film happen?
So
Edward, yes.
yeah, I will say for sure that the voice actors were absolutely instrumental to making this an entertaining film, because when I was first considering, okay, what am I going to do for voices, I looked into different AI solutions, and terrible. Like, you need human beings to make something identifiable and interesting and compelling, and with the emotion, the inflections. AI lacks that big time, and so the strike that Hollywood went through, and a lot of their considerations regarding AI is legitimate for sure, because audiences will be stripped from the connection at the human level if there aren't human beings that are conveying the emotions as a human only can do. So the voice actors I have to give credit to.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, voice actors are absolutely underrated people, I think. And yeah, thank you for sharing that. Dylan, who was absolutely instrumental in your film? You've already talked about the actors. Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess, again, all the actors. So Zara McCord, Ailey Garner, Ian Cobb, Ron Record, and Matt Jackson. And my film professor, Jane Martin, I'd like to thank her. I'll thank my parents, my mom, and my stepdad. Also, it's my stepdad's birthday, so.
Oh, happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday! Yes.
Happy birthday! And they supplied. They flip houses, so that house was an old house that I used for the set.
That's
So
great.
Terrific.
they helped me out with that. And Spencer Day, who helped me on set, he was my assistant director. So, what else? Yeah, that's about it. So, thank you.
Amazing. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Thank you. And Chakir, who was instrumental in making your film happen?
Yeah, for me, two people were very important for this movie. The first one, Albert Jansen. He was the actor who played the bad character Goebbels. He was very. He helped me a lot with the organization, everything, and in the next movies we worked together 100%. And the second one is Roberto Rodriguez. He wrote the end of the movie, and he directed a lot too. He has a very good eye for creative eye. He can see a set. He say, hey, maybe we do something else or something. But he wrote the end. We had a whole different end for the movie, and I think if we would have not did the end like he wrote it, the movie would not have been nice, because at the end it's like funny end, it's like surprising, and it gives the film a classy vibe. So yeah, and I wish from my heart that Roberto Rodriguez, that he really follows this path of movies, because he's very creative, and yeah.
Yes. Definitely, Roberto, if you're listening, follow your dreams to
Follow
do
you.
movies.
I think that's a common theme today is
Yes.
just, you know, go do it. Don't give up. Follow your dreams. And you could be here being interviewed as well.
Amazing. Yeah.
Oh, thank you guys so much.
Congratulations, everyone,
Yeah.
for winning the Audience Choice Award at the Liftoff Global
Hollywood First Time Filmmaker Showcase.
You got it.
And
Thank you very much.
thank you so much. And
Yes,
hope
well-
to see more of your work soon.
Absolutely. Yes, we hope to see you again next year or at one of our 12 local film festivals. We're currently running in Sydney and Melbourne.
Yeah.
And from next week, we are running in London too.
Yeah, very exciting. Very exciting things
Exciting
ahead. And thank
times.
you to all our viewers for watching and being so patient. I know I'm very new. So thank you guys very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And hopefully
Bye.
see you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye bye.